do you expect to see from Northern Illinois?
Yeah, they played 4 games last week at Abilene Christian. I think they swing the bat confidently, and there's a couple really good hitters in the middle of their order. I think new coach, usually there's good energy around that when that's the case. And you can tell they are trying to build an identity with what they're doing. And it's a beautiful ballpark. Obviously, it should be the best weather we've had this weekend, so I expect a ton of energy from them.
What kind of 4 games in 4 days you guys are coming off of? Just how did you guys make out just in terms of feeling health-wise and just kind of overall health of the team?
Yeah, I think better than I would have anticipated, and that's a challenge, this time of year. I think on the position player side, the depth allows us to take care of guys. Obviously we have 2 guys that pretty much play every day, a day off in there. I think that helps. I think having that 27-5 game on Sunday kind of allowed it to serve as a lighter day for a few of those guys that'll probably be in there a lot, which was good. We gave those players that played the most the day off yesterday as kind of like a recovery thing, and they had some treatment stuff that they do as recovery type stuff. And then we worked out with a couple guys that needed to pitch, and kind of the 5 guys that I want to get more at bats for yesterday, and then they'll have the day off today. So paying attention to that. I like the pitching depth, obviously. I think it's a strength. We've all been talking about it for a long time. The fact that we have that, didn't overuse anybody, able to get guys rest, and feel like we're well positioned for the week going ahead.
Monster caught a lot of attention this weekend. I guess, how do you get the nickname? How fun is it for you to have some kind of West Coast dirt bag on the team?
Gotcha. I thought you were going to make a comment about somebody I could look directly in the eye with or something like that. I've known him since he was in 7th grade. So he's a tough-minded, competitive guy. It's the only way a guy of his stature ends up here. He's highly, highly skilled, and he's got the right kind of makeup and all of those types of things. And I think we saw a lot of that this weekend, and he's a winning type player. And he's got a lot of good days ahead of him here. I think what I've been impressed with over the last month is the aptitude for improvement and learning. There was a very clear-cut things he needed to do a lot better coming out of the fall, and you could go through our preseason practice and go man, he checked all of those through preseason practice, and last weekend was an extension of that. And that's just a credit to his aptitude as a player. And again, I don't care where they come from. I just want winning type players.
How do you get the nickname?
I actually don't know the story behind that. I think it goes back a long time. I call him Steven. It's just, I'm the one guy that calls him Steven. So
you're used to that kind of ball, though. Being around
yeah.
Growing up. So how refreshing is it to see that kind of growth?
Well, I love, and I would say the same thing for Jake Brown. Monster's a switch hitter, Steven's a switch hitter. But the speed, the short swing, they both can drive the baseball, handle the bat with runners on base. Great defensive players. Those are 2 wheelhouse players for me. We want to have a couple of those every year. Very Trey Morgan, in terms of where I think they can go. And so really happy to have both those guys, making a positive contribution early.
Is Thatcher still slated for Thursday?
No, we're gonna Jump is going to throw Thursday against Northern Illinois. Hurd is going to throw Friday against Stony Brook. Holman is going to throw Saturday against Northern Illinois, and then TBA for Sunday. This time of year, I just didn't want to move anybody up that threw 60-plus pitches.
You think Gage can extend a little bit?
Yeah, I think he'll pitch more than he did this weekend, yeah.
Early in the season, is there an acclimation process? Everybody wants Thatcher to be the guy who goes in June, right? But that wasn't the case. Is there still an acclimation process for
I think for all of them. In regards to that, I thought for 8 hitters and 2 strikes, you can't ask. He's the best pitcher in the country for 8 hitters and 2 strikes right there. Exactly all he needs to do. So that was a real positive. Again, this is a very good hitting team with at least 4 or 5 fifth-year players, 7 of 9 guys that were back, and they just put together some good at-bats. And I think the best takeaway for me was I thought he was in control of himself. Like, the game didn't turn into a mess of him walking people. Like, we walked the guy, the 9-hitter, on 3-2 count. It was a pretty close pitch. Like, if he would have got rung up, nobody would have said anything on it. And Brian, the umpire there, is, in my opinion, one of the best guys in the country. I mean, so that's that. That's how that went. And then we had the balk, which was it a balk? I don't know. And then they put together 4 good at bats, and I thought we would score. And I thought that would be an exact spot where we would bring Justin into a game, made it harder to steal, which, they're a very aggressive team. So the guys on first, you put a left-hander up there, it's harder to do that. And it was a left-hand hitter at the plate. And he got him out, and then we immediately took the lead back. So I just literally just coached that like I would a regular game. We probably could have left him in, and he might have turned it around and done fine. That's just me doing my job. So I came out of that not too worried. I thought he was in control of himself, and good pattern forward. So I'm not alarmed by that at all.
Cole Abear, a LSU player who obviously shot in the neck recently, but has since been recovering. Dylan and others have visited the hospital. Have you spoken with the family at all? And if so, what did that sort of conversation entail?
Yeah, first off, super proud of those guys for getting involved in that. The real life, thing right there, and really sad, but shows the character of those guys that went over to see him. I have to be careful because of the nature of, it's crazy, but NCAA rules on commenting too much on that. So I will just say I think it's really sad. We're contributing as much as we're allowed to contribute to the situation within the framework of NCAA rules, which we've gotten from the compliance. But, my heart and prayers are definitely with him and his family for recovery and all that.
You talked a little bit about Justin Lower earlier. Just what did you see from him this weekend in his 2 outings, and how do you think he pitched?
I think Justin pitched well. I think he was much better on Monday than he was on Friday, and he was fine on Friday. There's nothing wrong with that outing on Friday. I thought all of them were pretty excited and amped up on Friday. I mentioned, I saw more self-control out of 3 of the pitchers in Omaha last year than I did on Friday. And that's just growing up. It's just growing up. That's all it is. And I was really pleased to see Justin use Friday's game to help him on Monday. And he's going to be a big part of what we're doing, and I really trust him.
3 different catchers, 3 different pickoffs. What did you like, and how much of a benefit is that to those guys to get some rest, for this long haul?
Yeah, a couple things with that. I liked it a lot. Again, with VMI, they were the number 1 team in the country in stolen bases last year, and I think they went 2 for 8 against us, or 2 for 6, one of the others. And the pitchers did a good job controlling the ball, or controlling their time to the plate. Catchers did a great job of catching first, throwing second, threw accurately. So, and then Central Arkansas plays that style as well. So those 2 may be as aggressive as anybody we see other than, ULL in terms of the running game type stuff. So I like that. I think you hit on something that's super important. All 3 of them are great players. All 3 of them, keeping them healthy has not been the easiest chore or thing since they've been here. So, I kind of have a plan of how we're going about that I feel good about today, and I think it will benefit all of them.
Are you more apt to get the guys out when you can because of the health issues?
Yeah, I think with 3 of them, with those 3, you saw with Brady the other day, you can get a foul tip, and it could affect you, with Hayden, I think Hayden's got a chance to be a great offensive player, as good as anybody in the country. So his legs being underneath him to do that are super important. Alex, has had lower body, injuries in the past. And so we want to take care of that as well. But I feel good, especially with the volume of games. This is a much this is as good a situation as you can have. I mean, from a catching standpoint.
How much more evaluation are you doing with where certain guys hit in the lineup?
That's every game. I mean, we threw a leadoff hitter in Game 71 last year that had never hit leadoff in his 5-year career. So when I say that's an everyday evaluation, that's an everyday evaluation.
Is it safe to say that Steven Milan has given you guys like an extra element of versatility and just the fact that you have another guy who can play second base, you can play Josh in the outfield more if you want to,
Oh, yeah.
vice versa?
Yeah, 100%. I think that's a strength of the team. You know, you look at it going around the field, you know, Brady could easily go to the outfield if we wanted to do that. You know, Hayden and Alex are pretty much going to catch, or Hayden's going to DH. I would have no problem rolling Jared over to third. We've actually done that before. Tommy over to first, Josh at second in the outfield, Steven at second, short, and third. Michael's athletic enough to play all the spots. So, yeah, I mean, Mac and Paxton outfield, but Jake Brown can go to first. So that gives us a lot of flexibility. And honestly, like, figuring in the good way, like figuring out who's going to play, let alone the lineup on a particular game, is taking a little while right now. And that's a great thing.
Yeah. So would you say he's part of that, like 11 or 12 guys who, you know, could start for any team in the SEC, but you have to pick 9 because you get the only 9 spots.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that'll be ongoing. And I mean, that might go through the entire season, and I don't think that would necessarily be a bad thing for us. I'm not saying like these 9 are going to play on this day. Like that's not, we're not even remotely close to that. And I don't have any angst about that. You know, it's like, this is what we're going to do. I mean, several of them know we're going to rotate through a little bit here as we're going, and there's nothing to be made of it. You know, Paxton didn't play Monday. He'll play tomorrow for sure, you know, so.
And with Steven, I noticed that he really likes the crowd the plate. His feet are almost like outside or almost on top of the box. Like, do you sort of like the fact that he's like he really makes it uncomfortable for pitchers that he's like right over home plate? Yeah,
I mean, yeah, I think he also just has shorter arms, so to reach a fastball away, it's a strike. Some of us have to stand a little closer to the plate to do that. I know nothing about that.
I had my guy ask you this after the game, but were the guys, like Tommy specifically and Hayden, were they getting upset about getting this pitch? Like, how do you – I know it takes away their at-bat, and I know it hurts, right? But, like, it's also what you want. So is there that balance of kind of –
Yeah, I think one of the – I'm speaking to one of the two you mentioned. One of them, it hurt a little bit. Like, that's why they were frustrated. And they had gotten hit in the same spot the week before. So that's what that was about. Yeah.
I wasn't sure if there was –
For the rest of it, I mean, you know, they know better than that. But at the same nature, they're competitive. And what's their tool? The ball comes off their bat 110 miles an hour sometimes. So if I could do that, I would want to swing too. So there's a healthy balance and all that.
Help me with Fidel's last name.
Ulloa.
Yo?
Yes.
And I think you talked about him in the post game.
Mhm.
Kind of JUCO guy who's going to go under the radar, but you can clearly see like there's an attraction from the fan base to that guy, and maybe it's the mustache or whatever. But just kind of give us a little bit of a story. If you would.
Yeah, people around here like mustaches. I didn't know that before I moved to Louisiana. You know, I think what I liked about the whole thing is, again, Friday, everybody was a little bit, we'll just say, amped up for the positive term. I mean, when he came in the game on Saturday, it was like, this guy's been here for 3 years. And then he has great stuff, as everybody saw. He's healthy. He had like a groin thing or something in the fall that we didn't necessarily see the best of him, but since he's been back, you could see it. Like, literally the first hitter he faced 3 weeks ago, it was like, oh yeah, this is what I had in mind when we brought him here. So
Is this most pieces like that you've maybe had?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I thought last year we were in the same place, you know, prior to all the injuries. But yeah.
Is simplifying Cam's delivery mechanically, is that sort of a point of emphasis for you guys in trying to get him, I guess, on the right track?
Yeah, I think he's plenty good enough. I mean, you all saw saw it in November. I mean, he threw 4 innings with 8 strikeouts and no hits against 2 really good Division I teams. So that's in there. I think it's more looking at the big picture of all the things to do that, you know, and it could be weight room, it could be conditioning, it could be, you know, mechanical deal. He's a big guy, and when you're big, it's kind of like the same thing with hitters. There's more moving parts, and so controlling those. But the good part for us is he's a good athlete, and so I think we get that delivery part squared away.
And this might sound like an obvious question, but like, how much emphasis are you putting on, you know, quick twitch guys when you're doing high school evaluations? Since you know, there's Steven, there's Paxton, there's even Del Cruz.
Yeah, I think it's a huge part of it. I mean, there's a saying for a long time that, you know, athletic guys will always figure it out, and the hard part for us is if you have that athlete that has exceptional skill and size, that's who you lose in the draft. You know, I mean, Mikey Romero, Tucker Tolman, a couple guys come to mind. Blake Mitchell last year. Like, it's hard to get the whole picture here. You know, there's a reason, and this is LSU. Like, there's still a reason we get the guys through the draft that we do. You know, so it's difficult for me because I'm always attracted to the best player. And, like, we need the same things to win the national championship that the Pirates need, that the Indians need, that the Brewers need. And so they make it complicated, you know, when they're throwing $2.5–3 million at players. But yes, I mean, in its simplest answer, there's a thought that if they're athletic in our system, we can help them build their skill, and they will figure it out.
What are you looking for Braswell this week?
Be himself. Yeah, I mean, it's as simple as I can answer that. I thought we won the game Saturday largely because of his defense, and that is the most important thing that we need him to do. I think we saw a great fall, great 3. I mean, I don't think he led our team in hitting the last 3 weeks, but he was 3rd, I think. You know, so we've all seen him succeed, and he will succeed. So I just would like him to be himself.
Got good reaction on the day games so far, and fans look like they're on board with it.
I mean, the Friday looked the same as the postseason did. Matter of fact, I think there was more people here Friday than there was for the Monday regional championship game against Oregon State. Saturday, for as cold as it was, massive hat tip to our fans. So Sunday looked normal. You know, Monday that might be tough, but you're also dealing with a getaway day. You know, they got home at 3 a.m, so it's not like we could have played it at 6. So there's a reason for each of that.
How do you evaluate a game like Saturday when the conditions are as tough as they are? What do you take away from it?
Yeah, I thought we outlined the things we needed to do to win the game on that day in those conditions, and we did most of it pretty well. And we needed to do all of it well. I made the comment, like, that game felt like I was coaching soccer, which I don't know anything about. Like, where you feel like one play is going to determine 90 minutes of running around a field, you know what I mean? So thankfully our guy was really fast in center field and caught the ball when he had to go do that. But I was good with Saturday. I was good with the whole weekend. You know, we want to win and get better while we're winning. And we won, and we got better, and we need to get better as we move into this week.
Anything more you can give us on Gage? Just kind of what you're looking to see?
Yeah, he's starting tomorrow, and I'm looking to see a lot of what we saw on Friday. I mean, that's what we've all been talking about, and can't wait.
All right. Thank you, Jay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach.